Hello, I'm Darren Barker. I'm the former British, Commonwealth, European and IBF middleweight world boxing champion. I'm here in West London with my old friend Wayne Liao, who I trained with, who I did yoga, pull work, rebounder work with, all in preparation for the biggest fight of my life when I won the world title against Daniel Gill back in 2013. And I'm here supporting the 2.7 challenge to support the NHS. It was an interesting meeting for me personally, because when I'm training, I'm a recluse. I don't like speaking to anyone. I don't like seeing anybody. I keep my distance from everybody. In Chelsea, at the health club at the back of Stamford Bridge, and I'd just finished a session. I was walking down the stairs heading towards the changing rooms, which you know, have a nice spa down there. And as you go from the gym, you get to the ground level before you go downstairs to the change room. So as I've come down the stairs, you are at a table at the bottom of the stairs, and we caught each other's eye, and you said hello, and we started talking. And even that in itself is strange, because, like I say, I don't stop. I'm in the zone, and I usually just plow through my day. But yeah, we started talking, and you sort of explained what you do loosely. You also told me about the injuries that you'd had and the problems you had with your hips, which obviously I had. So it resonated straight away. There was something that we had in common, aside from the obvious, which was, you know, that health and well-being. And you also had an understanding of boxing and people around. I think I was sort of looking for a change, looking for something to freshen up my training regime. Not just because it had got difficult because of injuries. I was looking to freshen things up. You know, I am probably one of the last of the old school, the tried and tested blood, sweat and tears, and you know, spit and sawdust sort of type of training, which obviously works to a degree, but you've got to change and evolve, certainly with the time, but with your body. And my body was breaking down, and with your type of training, it was, I thought, do you know what? Let's give this a go. And what we done was so good, and it tied in perfectly with the 12-round distance of a championship fight. But the hooks, the jabs, and working through the 3-minute distance, that also with the guided meditation, it was something, and we spoke about it, you know, walking to this gym, you know, it was something I enjoyed and looked forward to. You know, it was something fresh, it was different, my body wasn't hurting, I was in great shape, and I was surprising myself. The yoga sessions that we'd finish with,
the Jumpka sessions.
The Jumpka, yeah, on the rebounder, they were so good on my joints. There wasn't that hard, harsh impact, very smooth, but my heart, my lungs were pounding. And everything, again, was tailored towards what we was doing in boxing as far as the time format's concerned. And I found yoga very hard, but the benefits it gave me specifically to boxing were second to none. You know, the relaxation that I had throughout my body enabled me to punch faster, move quicker. My reactions seemed to be sharper, and these are all things, attributes that you need in abundance to succeed as a boxer. So yeah, all of that type of training, the rebounder, the yoga, was it kept me. Look, away from the physical side of things as well, it kept me physically, mentally engaged. I was fresh, I was rejuvenated, I was enjoying training, and that was big for me at that stage in my career. I woke up the morning of the fight, and a wave of doubt come over me, and I was thinking, I'm lying to myself. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not destined to be a world champion. It's all fake, false hope. It's not real. Where's Wayne? I need to speak to him. I'll never forget the way because you've got a real knack of resonating with me. And I think you do with a lot of people, but certainly with me. And the way you did it this time was every round of the fight was a chapter in a book, and you just broke it down, and you told me what I was going to do in each round, and how I was better than him in every department, and how this was my destiny, and all of that. And I remember that session, that book, if you like, closing, and I was back on song. I was back on form, and I was ready to go. And it was a special moment, an important moment. Many a man have been down from body shots. They've been hurt. I know being able to do it and standing up and getting to my feet, that everyone can get up. It's if you want to get up, if you want to break through that pain, if your mind will allow you to do so. And that chat we had before, and the stuff that had happened in the past, me losing my brother, the birth of my daughter, it was pivotal. It was important that I got to my feet. And I'm proof that you can, if you believe in it and you want to break through that pain barrier, and you can get your feet. I don't care who you are. You've got two options. You succumb to pain, or you overcome the pain. I don't think I've met anyone like you. I'll be honest. I don't think I've met anyone like you, but you have a special quality that not many have in a way of communicating. And you managed to get into that complex part of my brain, and for that short period of time, rewire it into a successful, way of thinking. And I will forever be grateful. I really will. And I'm a spiritual person. I'm a God-fearing person. And I believe that God put me in your presence that day at Chelsea, and the rest is history. Fine margins in top-level sport. It's that fractions, millimeters, milliseconds that can be the difference, and making those kind of adjustments and changes, making those uncomfortable decisions are pivotal, important in being successful. And I was luckily enough and mature enough to make those. It's a safety net. It's a safety net for me and my family, knowing that there's something there. How many times have I been at A&E in my lifetime? How many times have I had to take my children through illnesses that they had? There's been, and God willing, and thank God that everybody is okay, but it's having that support, having that place to go if there is a worry or there are concerns. What would I have done, when my son was struggling to breathe in the early hours of the morning? Where would we have gone? And the thought of the NHS not being around whilst I have young children, and look, hopefully I become blessed to become an old man. What will I do when I need this help? The thought of the NHS not being around for my kids and my family and myself one day is a worry. It's a worry, and that then spreads through my family and through my friends, and then beyond that, the whole country. People can't, like the US, people struggle to pay for health insurance. We need to support the NHS with what the NHS needs, and that is physical activity. That is advice with nutrition. The NHS is struggling. It really does have the weight of the world on its shoulders, and it needs support. And anything we can do to help the NHS with changing people's way of lives, perspective on exercise, diet, will be pivotal, and the NHS moving forward. Everybody needs to pull together now and start making a difference. Let's start moving, start making some better decisions. Let's not rely on the NHS. Let it be there for us if we need it, but let's not rely on it. Let's get busy, let's get up. I was just talking to my wife the other day of the importance of being able to, when you're older, pull yourself up and lift things, and look, God forbid one day, if I make it to an old man, I fall over, I'm able to push myself up and get to my feet. Every little bit helps. These little exercises, a little bit that you can do every day can be the difference. And it is the support the NHS needs. And that's why I'm supporting the 2.7 challenge. We've all got to be accountable for ourselves, our health, our fitness, so we can support the NHS. I'll be telling everyone to get involved with this. My friends, my family, my children, everybody. This is so important. It really is close to my heart, that the thought that the NHS could potentially not be around in 25 years is really, really worrying. So we've all got to pull together, all do our little bit to help.